Let's analyze what the stock market did today, Tuesday, March 1, 2022. This is a daily chart of the S&P 500. It was a negative day, down 60, almost 68 points. But the most important thing is that we closed below the 10 and the 5-day moving average, which is very negative. For the record, I liquidated my position. It was a small and fast loss. I had my stop loss, hard stop loss, just below today's low, and I didn't even wait to get stopped out. I actually liquidated my position right below 4,300. I did not want any overnight risk of a much lower open and end up taking a bigger loss than I anticipated, or I should say planned. Positives for today: dipped below this low, the green zone, and was able to bounce back. That happened the last 15 minutes of the day. Uh, Negatives: close below the 10 and the 5-day moving average. So the path of least resistance is south. Levels that I'll be watching tomorrow will be, of course, today's low. This zone here between 4,300 and 4,290. So all this zone basically. So the upside obviously will be above today's high, but I will be paying close attention to the 10-day moving average. This one showed very strong momentum for 3 days, including this day. The fact that it was not able to close down and kept bouncing higher. But today it was totally the opposite of the previous session. Now it looks more bearish than bullish. I'm talking about very short term. Just the fact that it's now again below all these moving averages, below all the moving averages. The best thing that it can happen tomorrow: gap higher and quickly push higher. Otherwise, if we gap down, I would expect selling momentum to increase and we can quickly drop down a lot more. Now let's take a look at that Nasdaq 100. Also, for the record, I liquidated my position. My stop loss was hard stop loss was below this low down here, but I did not like the price patterns during the day, including at the end of the day. So I did not want to take any overnight risks. So I decided to liquidate my position, take my quick and small loss, and wait for a better setup, which could be either long or short. Levels that I'll be watching tomorrow will be this low, this green zone, strong support, a close right at 14,000, which has been very strong, a pivot point as support and resistance. Positive things about today: it was still able to, it managed to bounce and close above the 5-day moving average, negative, back below the 10-day moving average. So this one's kind of neutral for the day, a little better than the S&P 500, but it looks like the momentum to the upside, it's gone. It's either pausing or getting ready for another move lower. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, mentioned in the previous video yesterday that the path of least resistance for this one was south, because it was trading below most of these moving averages. Really, it was only trading above the 5-day moving average. Well, today it dipped below the 5-day moving average, closing below it. Now, this one is not looking good. Used to be the strongest of all the indices, but now it seems like it's one of the weakest. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. Uh, Talked about this setup yesterday that I wanted to go long once it traded above the 20 and the 200-day moving average or above this high, but it didn't materialize. Decided to just do exactly the opposite. Now this one looks bad. I'll say one of the reasons why I decided to liquidate my position on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, because this one was very weak early during the day while the other indices were trading higher. This one showed very lots of weaknesses. Started trading quickly below this pivot point 3350, so that actually concluded or contributed to my decision of liquidating my other two positions. So this one looks very bearish. Now trading below all the major moving averages, way below the 5-day moving average. So we have mixed signals. Some indices are kind of neutral, some are selling off. I think this is one of the weakest one, at least today, showed very, can I say, very bearish signal. It was down 3.64%, so that was a big sell-off. Now, small caps, Russell 2000 IWM ETF. This one had been showing good price patterns, very strong bounce. Trading was able to bounce up and go higher than the 20-day moving average, something that the other indices were not able to do. But today it closed below that moving average, closed right on that pivot point around 199. So this one is not looking good. It can quickly gap up, gap down. If it gaps down tomorrow, it can quickly, momentum can accelerate to the downside, but we'll see what happens. But this one also showing some very weak signals. So we'll play it session by session. Remember to always have a plan. And thanks for watching, and good luck trading tomorrow.